And we hope you enjoy the book report or the book launch. I haven't added that we will be giving away a free copy. So we usually do it at the end, where we do the luck of the draw with raised hands. So we'll ask Rob to think of a number, and the one with the raised hand with that number will win a free copy of this book. So best of luck to everyone, and enjoy the presentation. All right.
Okay,
I see.
so
Oh, it
Okay.
started. It started.
Looks
There
like
we
it
are.
started.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark, for encouraging it. Just telling it not to stress too much.
okay, sorry. Yes. Uh, I'm not sure which screen are you able to
You're
see? Is
actually
it this?
showing you're showing the presenter's slide, so we're seeing your notes and not the actual presentation itself.
Okay, sorry.
So we see your timer and we see the slide and the next slide.
Mm, okay,
Okay.
I think this is helpful.
Okay, great.
This looks good, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I have to minimize my this window, so I might not be able to see the questions raised. So Howard or Debbie, just give
Yes,
me a
I
shout
will.
out, and
I'll do
yeah,
that. I'll manage the chat area, and if there's any questions, I'll notify you of that.
sure. Thank you, Howard. Yep. Um, okay. Um, Thank you, first of all, Howard and Modelware Systems, for inviting me for this webinar, um, and for the book launch, Data Quality ROI. I have personally attended some of the sessions in the past, and I
Oh,
have learned
nice.
so much things. Also kind of learned a lot about your trainings and the work you have been doing in this overall data management industry. It's really good. Um,
Thank you.
so when I started, so basically first, before we move into the details, I wanted to highlight like why did I come up with such a topic, or what is a little bit of history behind this. So I have been, and I'll quickly introduce myself as well. I am Gaurav. I work as a principal data strategist at ThoughtWorks, which is a global consultancy company, data and AI consultancy company. I am based out of their Amsterdam office currently. Um, I have been in the consulting industry for roughly 10 to 12 years, last 10, 12 years, and mostly on the areas of data governance, data quality, or the allied areas of data strategy. And I have a passion for writing. So I think in the since last 5 or 6 years, I started writing things around the area of work I do. Sometimes earlier used to I write some blogs, but then LinkedIn splurge came in, and I started writing on LinkedIn, and I started receiving some very positive feedback on my posts, some comments, some interactions. I started to follow a lot of good people in this data community. Learned a lot of things, and while I was doing that, I was also fortunate to work with a lot of industries, a lot of clients. Because of the nature of my work, which is consulting, I happen to work with a lot of companies, usually like small stint, 3 months, 6 months projects, then move to next client. Uh, Primarily around these areas only. That allowed me to be a part of different data cultures in different organizations. And what I started to notice after a few years, that be it any organization, be it any industry, there are certain defaults that you commonly observe in all of these data cultures or organizations. And one such is around data quality. I have lost the count of how many times I have heard this. Data quality is siloed within my organization. Concerns like business should own the data quality. IT is doing a lot of data quality, but we don't know what to do next on data quality. Uh, and should we just clean our data set, and should we declare that data quality is done? There are these all conversations that came up again and again and again in every culture. And again, we have a fantastic conference structure around data, which got tripled mostly in since last 3-4 years. But every conference that I went, everyone talked about data foundation, data quality foundations. You should be doing this and that. And I still couldn't understand it. Okay, because what they were talking about is mostly on how to do data quality. I will take a framework, I will take a technology, I will have some rules that being captured, I will implement those rules, I will create some dashboards. It's okay. It's all about how to do data quality. There are some very fantastic books in the market also that talks about how to do data quality. But
Mm.
not many people were talking about who should be doing this data quality. And if we know the who, why should we they really care about data quality? Why should we really worry about this in the larger spectrum of things? And that's where I think a lot of these conversations with clients, with data communities, with my friends in this industry coming up, and I started to shape these things, and I started to write it on LinkedIn. In the last few years, I have been writing a lot about data governance, data quality. And then last year, one of my good friend Tiankai came to me with a suggestion that why don't you get this in the form of book as well? So that's where I think when I started working on this idea. So basically, that's why I say this is not my own book. This is our book, because whatever I have captured in this, it's a combination of things that I have experienced, heard, and worked with all of this industry data practitioners and clients. So it belongs to everyone. Uh, Let me go to the next slide. So before we go on talking about this topic in detail, I wanted to highlight a simple definition of data quality. This is not in some book or something. This is what I think makes a lot of sense from my perspective, which is data quality is the degree to which we can create or deliver our data that is accurate, that is usable or reusable, trusted, and basically which solves the needs of my consumers, basically fit for their purpose. I don't intend to see data quality as an application of an entire organization, but I see it on a very fit for consumption requirement. So that's it, what my primarily is the definition of data quality from my perspective. uh yeah. And
Sorry, Gaurav. Sorry,
yeah,
could I ask you a question there?
yeah, please.
Um, so if we go back to the definition, um, now I see you have listed
Yeah.
there. Okay. Sorry, let me just mute. Okay. So I see here you're saying it's accurate, usable, trusted, and fit for purpose, fit for consumption.
Mhm.
Doesn't fit for consumption cover accurate, usable, and trusted?
That's a good question. So fit for consumption means from a volume perspective, and this is my definition. This for me, fit for consumption means if I have hundreds of data sets or hundreds of fields within a data set, I don't, for my use case or for my need, I don't need a quality parameter on each of those fields. Maybe I need only 10, because this is what uh, ready to this is fitting my needs, this is fitting my consumption requirement. And for on
Okay.
that 10 fields, I need to ensure that the data that it is accurate, it is usable. I don't have to waste weeks or months in trying to get in a format that I can readily use. And someone from the business or someone within the organization should have a trust certificate on this data, so that I don't have to again waste my time in to really answering that whether this is the right data set or not.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Okay. And I was talking about this data quality complication, and this is still the reality in many companies, to be honest. Even personally, I feel like I am stuck in many conversations around this, and it has some actors to it. So basically, business. Uh, when it comes to data quality, the most common thing that I hear is, okay, my job isn't about fixing the data quality. It's about delivering a business result. It's about enabling my business process. And why they think like this is because from their view, data is equal to database is equal to IT. And they do not see anything sort of technical in nature. Firstly, they perceive data quality as technical in nature, and that's why they think that it's not their job to fix it. Then we have the IT side of things. IT teams or data engineering teams, platform teams, they say that, okay, we might help you to implement data quality, but we cannot own it because we don't know whatever we have done is correct or not, or whether we can say that the data is accurate or not. And that's why they say that maybe we can help you to identify some sort of bad data like blanks and format and all those things, but we don't know what next, who's going to act on it. Should we correct the data on your behalf, or is it something which the source should do it, or is it the business is going to help us do that? And then this is my favorite team in the between, which is the data team, the CDO team, which comes up with a set of policies, some sort of technology, saying that you have to use this, you have to enforce these policies when it comes to data quality. And the challenge is neither business or the IT knows or understands basically how to apply these policies or use this technology and tooling stack. And as a result of all of this creates a data quality gap within organizations. Uh, this kind of keeps the business wonders, okay, what should I do? The IT thinks, okay, we should be doing this and that, and the CDO teams then comes up with their own set of assumptions, and then what you typically see is this communication gap is kind of a lot of meetings, siloed discussions, coffee cup meetings happening around, okay, should you do this, should you do that? And that's where I see the fundamental problem around data quality. Yes, I also wanted to highlight some data quality beliefs. I have enlisted a few in this slide, but I have a lot more captured in the book as well. Uh, and I have covered, like, let's start doing with a few of them. Basically, and this is again, these are the conversations that I have with clients, with data leaders, with business leaders, in the data community, in conferences, which I have heard again and again. And so by basically by they I mean everyone in the industry. It's not particularly categorizing someone within that they. These are hallway conversations everywhere. That data quality can be achieved 100%, but then my response to it is we should be really thinking whatever myths or whatever beliefs we are hearing, we should be able to challenge them from our own understanding, from our own perspective. So basically, that is this slide which is capturing that essence. Data quality is a one-time cleansing activity. Again, my question would be then, if you clean your data today, will it also stay clean tomorrow? Can we really declare that, if data quality is done as a one-time activity, you don't have to worry about it again? The thing which we just talked about, data quality is IT's responsibility. Again, can IT really improve the quality of your data if they don't understand what they mean? And very simple example can be For example, any status ID field, whether what best IT can do is to say that, okay, for your particular statuses, these are 10 statuses which are active, and 10 statuses which are inactive based on, on the data that is being captured. But whether what is that definition of being active or being inactive, the why behind that data, I'm not sure if IT can really answer that question. This is my favorite. Data quality issues should be only fixed at the source. Nowadays, we are starting to seeing this trend around shift left. We should shift everything to the source. We should ask source to do everything around data quality. But I have my own concerns around that. That is the source really responsible for all the data? Isn't source systems designed on purpose to primarily drive the operational needs of the organization? Are they really supposed to uh, amend their data to fix the analytical spectrum as well? Do they have that kind of skill set? Do they have that kind of resources, budgets, leadership to do that? Without understanding all of this point, just saying that push everything to the source, I'm not sure how scalable or fair that would be, to be honest. And then it's the most common thing that we hear: let's buy a data quality tool and we should be good. And my question would be, is the tool really answer to your problem? If I spent $500,000 in buying some fancy tool tomorrow, will it solve all the points or all the questions that we just discussed around data quality? So the purpose of this slide was to basically motivate you guys to ask yourself such questions whenever you hear or you see certain kind of beliefs coming out, and not only for data quality, anything around governance, data management, and so on. Yeah, and then this is where the foundation or the basis of my book is. So when I collected all of this information, and I thought, okay, what would be the best representation of sharing these ideas? I was confused. I had that typical writer's block for quite a while, because I don't want it to sound it too theoretical and, too something which, 300, 500 pages that people would never read. I wanted to write something that is sticky, that, anyone can read any chapter of the book and, understand that context. It's not necessary to read from start to end. And that's where I think Newton's laws and this idea kind of stuck with me. I was watching some documentary on the Newton's laws, and that it was just that moment that I thought that Newton has these wonderful laws around that are applicable in the physical world. Why can't we have similar laws that are applicable in the data world? And that's where, I took Newton's law as reference and tried to convert them into data laws or data quality laws in this instance. So we start with our first law. uh, Newton's law of inertia. What we have in data is law of data inaction. An object at rest will stay in that motion unless and until it is acted upon by an external force. Similarly, for data quality, your bad data is not going to automatically fix itself unless someone from your organization acts upon it. And by someone, if there is a notion or if there is a belief that your business should act on it, I think the most important thing then is to inform or communicate the to the business the why behind it. Why should they act on? Why should they act on it? What's in it for them? Uh, and this is the basis, I think, around the entire data ownership kind of discussions that we have. I believe most of us have day in and day out within our organization. Why should a particular business team own anything related to data unless and until we communicate that them in a language that they understand? They are not going to, kind of completely get it. And there is a reason behind it. It's a human reason. If you carefully observe, most of these business leaders come from a non-technical background. They do not necessarily have an IT or a software engineering degree. They are mostly specialists like finance, chemical, and coming from that background, leading their industry verticals for years. And they have a particular mindset or a viewpoint around their business. Uh, and the people coming from the IT or the software world has a different mindset. If we want to merge these two mindsets together, then we have to move those efforts in a language that both of these teams would understand. So that's why I gave some example, very simplistic example that I often use in the banking world, that most of the banks quality problems that I often suggest is start with your customer complaints department. Uh, and that will give you a lot of use cases around how bad data is actually impacting the customer experience within your mobile app. It can be your physical bank visits and so on. uh, so the idea behind this is to make them curious, make the business curious around, if you do data quality, or if you take the ownership of the data quality, this is something which would benefit to you. And I have some slides later I'm coming out, which will show some concrete examples of what I'm trying to say over there. And it's not only just to improve the business input for business decision, it actually helps into driving the overall efficiency as well. If business takes the ownership, if business also contributes to the overall data quality management within an organization. The next law. So this is why I came up with this law is, I have seen that, since the launch of like advent of data mesh, the concept of federated data governance is doing rounds in multiple organizations. Um, and a few years ago, like 3-4 years ago, I didn't understand that concept fully. But since when I joined ThoughtWorks, my company, they kind of, initiated this entire data mesh. So I got an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into this concept. And what I realized after talking to, again, clients, colleagues, and everything, that uh, the definition of federated data governance is misconceived by a lot of organizations, a lot of industry leaders. Uh, what was meant to achieve a federated form of engagement has actually resulted into a fragmented kind of a scenario. So the data governance itself has become a siloed structure, or a siloed organization or team within the entire organization. They have their own roadmaps. They are trying to do their own things, not which are primarily not connected to the overall business outcomes. And that's why what I wanted to capture over here is, if you want to achieve meaningful acceleration or improvement in your data quality, it's not the work of just one team. Basically, your alone data teams or data product teams or whatever you call it, or business or IT, they alone can't do it. It has to be a joint effort. It has to be a joint force, basically, that everyone is working towards it's not possible to do it in one through one team. And that's where I came up with this data quality partnership matrix, which talks about the business engagement and the support part. Support is basically everything that the data governance team usually provides. Uh, and earlier, sorry, before I go into that, I'll explain what this metrics means. So what we see is, if the business engagement is high and if a supporting pillar is less or on lower side, then it's totally chaos in your organization. yes, there are initiatives, business wants to do some things, but there are no particular teams or individuals who can actually go and deliver around that, and it's just talk and no show on the other side. uh, if the business engagement is high, but again the support is less, then it results into non-scalable data quality. Yes, there are particular investments that are directed into certain projects, certain initiatives, but they are usually in a siloed nature. Each team is doing its own part on governance, on quality. For example, you must have seen there are there are multiple data catalog initiatives also sometimes going on in multiple parts of an organization. That results into, because there is business investment sponsorship, but there is no centralized structure or there is no centralized support to kind of guide through that results in non-scalable data quality. Vice versa, if there are well established data governance, data quality teams, CDO teams, for example, who have quite a good budget with them, but the business engagement is low, which I see the most common scenario in organizations today is this last corner, which is the data ownership. Sorry, I'm hearing my own echo. Is there a
Yeah, I'm
question?
just checking. I'm just checking. No, there's nobody else. I think we've got some feedback somewhere. I'm just checking.
Okay.
Okay, let's try now.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So yeah, so what I find is most organizations are in this fourth pillar where the ownership is not clear. The business has some money, but it's not. They are not primarily supporting, or it's not looking like the sponsorship part is the ownership part is not clear. But there are data governance team, there are tools, there are processes in place, but there is little support on the business side. The use cases are not clear, then it results into a lot of wasted data potential. So ideally, uh, where the organization should be into in this corner, which is the high business engagement and high business support. This is where your strategic data quality will yield its results, wherein there are set of use cases that are business sponsored, that the business is invested in. You have proper form of ownership, as well as there is a data team, a centralized data team, who is providing policies, who is providing the technology, who is helping with the education, the literacy part of this, who is helping with alignment on the issues that are occurring in these use cases. When they both work in a partnership model, that's where you start yielding results around data quality, and for that sense data governance as well. So till here, any questions before I move on?
There are no questions at the moment, Gaurav,
Okay.
but it's a nice time to ask. And I'm just checking if there's anybody got any questions. Sure, William has got one or two.
Yeah, no, I do. So I like the simplicity of the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering who your audience would be in the business. Would you
Yeah.
be aiming this at the exec, or would you aim this at the data governance folk, or who would your target in the business be?
So my target audience is not only the business but also on the data and the IT side. From the business, it can be everyone from the steerco to ERP head, or kind of heads of individual business units, basically who's trying to understand or grapple with this problem of data ownership today. A lot of business units or business functions that I commonly work with companies, there are this finance leader, this is HR leader, there is some source system leader. They are saying that, Gaurav, we have been asked to take ownership of our data. We have been asked to do define data quality. We have been asked to do metadata and all those things. But how should we really do this? Yes, there is a governance team who's probably giving us some hundreds and pages of documents of policies, but we don't know what does it really mean. How should we really enforce it? Who should be doing it? Am I the right person for data owner? In many organizations, believe me or not, it's happening that people are just getting an email in the morning saying that from today you are nominated as the data owner for this particular business unit, and they are just going like, okay, but what does it really mean for us? So I think my messaging is towards that audience, to trying to help them understand how should they basically perceive this kind of messaging. And in the coming slides, I'll also show that how the IT side, or the technical folks, the technical leaders, the platform leaders, the data leader, chief data officers, how should they make it r- relatable, or communicate in a language that those folks on the business end can easily adopt it. That's what coming immediately coming in the next slide.
Great, thanks. Looking forward
Okay.
to what you're coming up with.
Yes. Okay. Then moving on. Yeah, this is my favorite, and this is what the entire, I think most of my books messaging is based on, this core message, which says that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Similarly, for every push on technical jargon, the business will push back harder with confusion, frustration, and a lot of questions. And really a lot of questions. So just what I was saying few seconds ago, if I am a data owner and I woke up this morning and I get nominated as a data owner, and I have this hundreds of documents in my Confluence or SharePoint which talks about data quality rules, data quality dimensions, accuracy, timeliness, and lineage, and federated computational governance, and Colibras and Informatica, everything coming on to me. I, my first reaction is naturally going to be resistance, because I don't understand this world. I don't understand what you are trying to say to me. Why should I do it? What is the benefits for me to do it? And I have a very simple example. I'm sure most of us who are working in the data space have seen similar kind of data quality dashboards. Some, all the time, or sometimes in their work. But this data quality dashboard, and trust me, I started in roughly 10 or 12 years ago. This dashboard looked the same 12 years ago, and even if today, if I ask someone to show your data quality dashboard, it will still look the same. It will have the same sort of messaging: total number of rules passed, total number of rules failed, how many rules have been, or issues have been fixed in past 3 months, 6 months. This is the same. And I haven't added that, but there is a layer also on top of that, which talks about dimensions: accuracy, consistency, timeliness, freshness, and I don't know what all dimensions come up. It's all the same. And if you take this dashboard and go to a business person who has no understanding of this world, the first reaction is, okay, so what should I do about it? Yes, I see some rules have passed, but does it mean that if I'm a customer data owner, does it mean that my app is going to stop tomorrow, or does it mean my customers are going to unsubscribe? What does it trying to say? I don't care, because I don't know what you're trying to say, and they're just going to, on the face, they are going to say, yeah, yeah, good work, good job, and then they are just going to go and do their own jobs in their life. And this is what is happening. So that's why the core message is data quality is not is struggling, not because there is a technical gap, but there is a communication gap between these multiple actors within the organization. And now in the next slide, I'll show that if I have to transform this in a language, what do I mean by that? Improving your communication and all of those things. Yeah, sorry, Howard, I see your hand raised.
That's fine. Now, I suppose that I find that sometimes we get these dashboards because a lot of our more technical people that create the dashboards
Yes.
are not recognizing that fit for purpose and fit for consumption is dependent on the consumer making a decision based on a report. So
Yes.
we have these dashboards, but they may be good for almost what we call these indicators on what the technical department's doing, but not the benefit of the consumer. And
Exactly.
I've seen very few scenarios where we put these quality reports into the dashboard, into a report to say, stop using this report. This report is dangerous because it doesn't meet your purpose. And that's really the only way that we can tell. So our data catalogs say, we've got a 90% quality on customer. And it's like, and so what does that mean? You know,
Exactly.
what do these things
Exactly.
mean? In what context are we? So
Yeah, exactly. So that's why that as a business leader or as a use case or a functional leader, I don't understand how can I use these numbers for my business purposes, for my insights or whatever business outcomes that I'm trying to achieve. So that is, and I'll show you, like, I've taken the same example and translated it now. Now take the same data quality example, dashboard example, what we had, and imagine you have the report into somewhat this format. Basically, now what it is saying is, yes, there is a 70% decision confidence. In bracket, I have purposely used those dimensions because those people can understand that. What do you mean by decision confidence? Basically, nothing but accuracy of the data. And the indicators of that, yes, there are some records that are missing. For example, it's a finance report, there are some missing records, there are some data dropouts, etc. But what's important is this potential impacts. What will happen? Because if the score is 70%, what does it really mean? What impact it will have in our forecast accuracy, what impact it will have on our month end close time, what impact it will have in our expense reimbursement. Now, if I am a business leader and if you show me this dashboard and if you say to me, take the example of this 56%, which is low, and you say me, Gaurav, there is a 56, the overall cross system consistency is only 56, and because of that, there is going to be impact on your customer net promoter score. Okay, now the first thing is, oh, really? Can you explain me that? And then, I open that KPI and I show to them that, based on a certain condition, every time, for example, there are the mismatches across systems crosses the 20% mark, there is a high chance that your customer net promoter score will go down. So the indicators influence these impacts. Now, as a business person, I have that initial hook into understanding what you are trying to really show me or what you are really trying to do me. And then once I get that initial hook, my next question is going to be, okay, then what should we do about it? If the score is 56%, okay, how can I help you kind of to improve the score? And that's where, then the IT or the data teams, whoever kind of technical teams who is creating, they can say that, okay, if you want to improve maybe there is a problem at source system, or maybe the transformations are not correctly captured. Can you help us, prioritize this work in the next few weeks? And then I am on board as a data owner. I am on board. I'm saying that, okay, yes, this is a very important metric for me, and I can't allow this to go down. So here is whatever you need, maybe investment, maybe budget, maybe some part-time resources. Yes, because this is what is impacting. So transform the issues in their lingo, understand how they perceive quality, what KPIs matters to them the most, and then translate it into data points. We start from the data points, and then we somehow fail uh, to go into the other way. Sorry, someone had their hand raised.
Yeah, so Gaurav, thank you. And I agree with your statements in terms of having the potential impacts for KPIs. I think where we're missing a gap, right, is the translation between your slide before. In other words, this particular rule. So if you go back one slide.
Yep.
So if you tell me, well, this DQ rule didn't pass, or this DQ rule failed, right? In the metadata relating to each of these rules, there needs to be some form of an approved, because this is where the problem comes in, right? Some form of an approved agreement that if this rule fails, these are the business processes that are at risk. Because what takes place is, and because I've run into the same problem that you're talking about now, and when I've provided KPIs and they say, explain it to me, and I go direct from there to here, the rules failed, they then say to me, okay, then you're giving me an assumption. You're not giving me how you got to this. Yes. And when the business analyst goes and does the homework, they need to do the business at the homework on the process and say, yes, this will affect this, and it needs to be agreed that this will affect, that's why. If the business process is the one that initiates the request for that rule, that's when you start to get an opportunity to document this business process has said this will be an issue. They've requested this to, in fact, be created, and they are the owner of the rule. As soon as you get it coming in from the business angle, you've got something to stand on. But if you build this from the data angle upwards, business they just sidestep it.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. Basically, because of the time and everything, I haven't shown that step, but I have that step exactly captured in the book as well, and I can share it with you, later as well. So these metrics are, or these KPIs are based on those business conversations that needs to happen at the start. And that's why I mentioned that, I should have included one KPI explanation in this slide, just to show basically how to get that. Basically, this total number of DQ rules phase, the question that I also asked earlier, like, what does it mean? What does this 36 rules failed translate into is nothing but I have divided it into these two key indicators. So assume the 15 and 13% make up for those 36% failed rules in this particular category. It means basically I have gone into a level detail. What does those 36 rules failed mean? It means because there are missing records and there are data dropouts, and that's why those rules have failed. The next level is, okay, if the records are missing, then what does it really mean? Then it means that if the records are missing, then it has a potential impact on your forecast accuracy. But okay, to what level does the forecast accuracy is impacted? Now for this, our business analyst or the data steward has conversations with the business saying that what is the ideal uh, threshold for this forecast accuracy from your end? When do you see that, okay, if that threshold is below, you see that no, something is a problem. And that's where these KPIs come into. Business will say that if the forecast accuracy is around, anywhere between 80 to 100%, we are good to go. This is expectable. This is expected. It's not that of concern. It's okay. But if the forecast accuracy or if the number of missing records fall below a particular number, then, we really have a problem. And that's what goes into calculation of these KPIs. So it's a layered by layered. I completely agree with you. In this slide, it's looking like we are directly coming up from that, but it's a layered approach, basically.
And Gaurav, another question that Eric asked is what about the cost, the recognition on the cost of these errors? So you don't really have a cost impact on this dashboard.
It can be if that KPI is a cost parameter which your business has defined, then it's there. For example, in the compliance, I have mentioned time to compliance. Like if the BCBS or GDPR or any sort of compliance has a 3-month deadline to prove compliance, but because of the bad data, the time to compliance has increased from 3 months to 6 months, it obviously has an impact. So the KPIs are totally possible. It totally depends on the nature of that business unit. It totally depends on what perception is there in minds of your data owners or the business owners.
So where I'm getting a bit confused is if you have a data quality expectation and as the data moves or runs, then you pick up the data quality violations. At that point in time, you should be aware of the impact of those quality issues. So here you're marking them as potential impacts. Surely you should know that it is an impact, that if I drop this, then these KPIs are wrong. This is not a potential. This is wrong. This data is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes. So and that's why the help of metadata becomes crucial in that way. So we were talking about our use case or fit for consumption. So if there is a particular use case that is going on, so all of these points around what those KPIs are, what is the metadata around it, what does it really mean, it all by default comes as part of your requirements before you actually start delivering or implementing that end-to-end pipeline for that use case. And then when you actually start, when you capture this metadata, all this quality criteria, or you call it as business rules or everything, when you implement it, it automatically then should provision this kind of impacts. And nowadays there are some very good tools also which which can allow you to automate most of these things as well. But the message over here is the format can change, the overall structure can change. The important part is to the communication angle.
Right. I just want to check, Eric, are you comfortable with the answer? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is fine. The only point for me is that the business today is really disconnected from that because they don't get the real value in terms of money, right? I am the supply chain leader. I have a business rule. My business rule is running the entire organization, and if there's a break in the value chain, how can I be proactive instead of being reactive, right? And this is the issue today. The IT is supposed to own the data. They should be the superstar of data. But in reality, on the other side, the business does not understand the vocabulary which is behind the scene. When you speak data product, data contract, this is fine, but they don't get it. What they get is that they can see that they have a business rule written in natural language, and this one should show in a snap really the value of non-quality and the impact of the non-data quality and how much they can get out of that if they correct the data by themselves. This is my point, actually. I mean, this is my 2 cents. This is what I have seen so far. And just wanted to have your view on that, Gaurav.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And that is also a common challenge, which you correctly explained that, okay, even if the business provides all these KPIs and qualities, how does IT communicate it back to them? Is it only after something happens, something breaks? Should it be proactive? And I think there is a very common process in between, which is around your entire data catalog or your marketplace nowadays, which plays a big role. From my experience, if your data flow or of all of your quality metadata and everything is moving through this catalog, all of this notifications, all of this communication, results, dashboarding, everything should be stitched together between business and IT. And the most common place, at least now, to stitch it together is your catalog, because catalog has interfaces which can be catered to the business audience, which can be catered to the technical audience. So it's like my own private space, where I as a data owner, as a data leader, go and I see what's happening, what's wrong, where is my data going, who is all consuming it, whether the access should really be granted or not, and all of those things. So I see it moving towards that direction. I agree that it's
Yeah,
not
good
as
evening. How are
easy
you?
as, yeah. I know it's not that easy as I'm making it sound. Obviously, there is an effort behind it, but this is the way in my experience that can be most helpful.
Thank you, Gaurav. Agreed. And I think data cataloging is fine, but I guess if you can encompass in one single point data catalog, data governance, and data quality seamlessly, then you solve the problem somehow. And
Yes,
then
exactly.
you have the capability to extract this value that I was talking about. But thanks for
Yes,
this,
yes,
Gaurav.
yes,
And
yes,
I love the title
exactly.
of your book, actually.
Thank you, thank you. uh, yeah, I think Crystalline also had some question.
Crystalline, yes. Crystalline.
Thank you, Gaurav. Great presentation so far. Just a question from my side. Did you, in terms of execution, did you put together like a RACI or kind of roles and responsibilities and who should do what? Yes, I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying in terms of, everybody should take partial ownership. But in my enterprise, everybody is so easy to pass on ownership.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
governance is predominantly it's an assurance kind of controlling role. So it shouldn't be, yes, we prescribe the rules and the policies, but at the end of the day, we can't go and do DQ at source,
Yes.
whether it's done at source or it's done between integration points.
So definitely. So when I say that there is a business team or there is an IT team, there is definitely. I mentioned it because it's easier to convey or understand to a broader audience. But in organizations, yes, this has to be filtered. It has to be divided as the individual organization structure or the hierarchy that your company suits into. And having a RACI, I personally prefer having a RACI in most times because that helps. Uh, the most common trend I am seeing nowadays is to push ownership to the business, which is correct. I'm not denying that. But my message is, if we are pushing that ownership to the business, then that responsibility or that racy part should be super clear. It shouldn't be one standard page of document showing that, okay, you are responsible for saying that, you are responsible for data quality within an organization. That doesn't mean anything to them. Okay, I am responsible for data quality, what should I do? That needs to be so detailed out that there is a part of this education, hand holding, and enablement as well that follows with it. So yes, having a RACI is helpful, but it's also educating them, individuals who are marked in this RACI, to really understand that they are clear to what things they are primarily responsible for. I
Thanks.
is there Yeah, there is, I think, one or two more hands.
So it's Annie. That's you first, and then William.
Hi, Gaurav. So
Yeah.
my question is, with data quality, what comes easy? Like, should we select the roles and responsibility first, or should we have work towards better quality of data and then make the CDO people's life easy? I mean, because, like you said, the main challenge comes in educating people, right? And at the
Mm-hmm.
stakeholders or the business level, I don't think they have enough time to understand what's going on with the
Yeah.
quality side and with the IT people, right? So, should I form the CDO team first and then make them understand about quality, or should I fix the quality with the IT people who are actually doing it and then talk to the business people?
I think any of this approach, the fundamental is to link it to a particular use case or a business outcome. Data quality shouldn't be a siloed exercise within itself. It should be linked to a business outcome. So if you are doing creation of roles and responsibilities or data cleansing for some data source, there has to be an underlying reason of or the business outcome that should follow with it. If that business outcomes are clear, uh, may it CRM data cleansing, it can be your analytical use case, it can be anything. But if that business outcome is clear, then you naturally start kind of breaking it down into multiple steps. Okay, this is my end-to-end spectrum now for this use case. Do we have the necessary roles or responsibilities within to achieve this business outcome? If we have the roles and responsibilities, do they understand that? Okay, they understand. Okay, how can we enable them? Do we need some policies? Do we need some technology? How should we do that? So it's a step by step process. It eventually, the foundation is what Howard also mentioned, is what are the needs for your consumers. That is important to start.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank you.
Gaurav. Thank you. Sorry, Gaurav. Could it seems like you've only got 3 slides left and we have some people leaving. Is it possible to
Yeah,
finish and
yes,
then we can answer up to questions and then people can stay if they like, but at least we've
yeah,
got to the end.
yeah. Good idea. Yeah. So yeah, so moving on. So this is eventually the final law of data quality. So all objects with mass attract one another. So if we are able to kind of execute all the three laws that I showed before in a decent manner, then it automatically creates an environment for the business to naturally revolve and gravitate around it. So it's no more a push towards business, but it has to be a pull from the business. And if we are into that, if we follow those laws, then we naturally create those pull around it. And uh, the last slide is mostly on some of the engagement mantras. Each of these engagement mantras I have explained in way detail with a lot of examples in the book, but obviously I couldn't get everything in this slide. So that's why I've just tried to add some summary. Like I mentioned, the focus is not pushing the problem towards the business, but it getting the pull and no finger pointing. It doesn't work. I have heard some people also saying that let's create a universal data quality dashboard and get everyone in a meeting and say that your data quality is bad and your data quality is bad. You are up, you are scoring like this and that. If we understand basic human psychology, nobody likes finger pointing in a room of peers who are on the similar grade. So that doesn't work. So data quality issues, like I said, it's an opportunity. It's not a burden. Don't think of it as if something you want to get rid of from your shoulder. See it as an opportunity to find those gaps where business outcomes can be much more efficient, much more profitable, and a customer experience, for example, can be superior with that. Some of the engagement mantras: educate, don't dictate, which is the finger pointing. The data governance team, the IT teams has a kind of responsibility to kind of educate the business for them to take the ownership and then help them come on board this the entire journey. There is a detailed view on the communities of practice also, which I have shared in the book, basically how you can, have a community based structure. The second point is important: get all the producers, transformers, consumer in a room. I often see data quality discussions happening in silos with some stakeholders, and it's not that productive. Get everyone in a room, have some event storming kind of a workshops, try to map end to end or data flow for your particular business line or particular use case, and you will see how people are reacting to the data related concerns. And that's where, if you have your source system person, your data engineer, and your data analyst in the room, they will start to understand where the quality issues are coming up and how should they work together hand in hand. Catch the number twos in the value chain. So I have explained this special someone syndrome. Every business leader has someone called a special someone in their team who they rely the most upon to handle these data discussions. So in my previous consulting organization, all the sales leaders have someone special someone who used to manually review all the final reports, see if the numbers are making sense and everything before these leaders actually had a look. So if that person find out some issues with the data, then he used to get fixed it with the IT and all those. So find who are these people, because they understand those business process, those knowledge, and they can really help you develop those data quality criteria, because if the business leaders or the business folks are too busy. Revise your dashboard lingo, we talked about it. Share the feedback transparently with everyone. Incentivize people to kind of come on this journey. Advertise testimonials. Whatever little impact you have been able to achieve through data quality, whatever communication related challenges you have been able to solve, advertise it. Make sure that the message is spread to across all your organization. It Data quality is not, in my view, is not kind of a kind of a leap that from point A to point X, you take it in one leap. It's a step by step journey. So whatever opportunities you get, you make sure that you follow you advertise that. And finally, no presentation ends without AI. uh, how can we make use of AI to make our life simpler with its respect to data quality? A lot of technologies tools are coming up with uh, very very simple data quality automations. How can we leverage them and make our life easy? Start thinking into that direction. Yes, so this is me. This is my book. It's available on Amazon. Please do give your feedback. Any sort of feedback that you have will be helpful for me and for the entire data community. If there are any questions, I have shared my LinkedIn and my email ID as well. Please feel to drop me a message, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'm just wondering, there are two questions, one from William and one from Vishnu. So maybe we can do these two questions, and then we can have the selection of the winner of the book, if that's okay with you. So let's start off with William. Yes, William.
I'll go afterwards.
Okay. All right. So Vishnu, this is the comment is, I like your perspective on the use of AI, but when it comes to AI to application to data quality automation, I believe, something which is and which would be rule-based now, we should balance between automation and human oversight. Also, the question arises about the privacy and the governance. So what should be considered?
Yeah. That's a very good question. I have separate two chapters which talks about data quality for AI and AI for data quality.
Yeah.
So basically, if it's for AI for data quality, then it is like you said, there has to be a human in the loop. But where on a very simplistic day to day, if you see what work data quality consultants or analysts do day to day, a lot of these tasks can be automated. And this communication gap, which I said, can be helpful. Uh, Data quality rule suggestion, metadata suggestion, creating of these dashboards, enhancing, making it more visual. There are practically a lot of things possible. Co-pilot experience, asking questions. I remember someone asking the question that, okay, where can we see or ask or see the, what is the impact, instead of going through look at the dashboard. Maybe a co-pilot experience can help, to ask a question in a natural language and see whether what's the result of this data quality and so on. So the applications are widespread. Yeah.
And yeah, it's about helping the business understand or explain the quality area to the business and the roots and what they can do about it. I agree a lot. Yeah. And there are so many areas where AI is helping us automate data management. But of course, there's always humans in the loop, and almost dealing with it as what the AI suggests doesn't mean that it's a given rule. It's something that's been assessed and we need to check it.
Yeah.
Right. So William, yes, all yours.
So one of the things that's worked for me with this is when I've spoken to managers, because these are the guys whose feet are against the coals, right? You speak to the manager of a department and you say, can we have a look at your balance scorecard? And have a look at these different entries on their balance scorecard and ask the question, so what data underpins this for you? What data, if it's not good, is going to cause your balance scorecard to skew, or you're going to have failures or whatever? They become very, very interested when you ask that question. And sometimes it's a case of, okay, well, I need to sit with a business analyst or a process analyst to help me answer that. But that's when they get interested. And if you can then tie their balance scorecard to the DQ, that then makes their life something they can look at it and say, you know what, I need to invest more in this. I need to support this, because it's now real to them, right?
Yes, exactly. Very good example. Definitely. So it's all about tying up to your business outcomes eventually. Why we are doing data quality, data governance in the first place is to, improve the overall business outcomes for our business. I think that purpose sometimes get lost somewhere, but eventually, and that's why the diagram also which I created, it's more of, if you want to really take the ROI or a kind of a return on investment on that, you have to water it. It's not like one thing you do and you immediately create a 25 million impact on your business. That doesn't happen with governance and quality. It's spread out. It's spread out of in a lot of things that you do with your business, trying to make their lives easier, improve the outcomes step by step. So yes, completely agree.
Fantastic. Debbie, would you like to just orchestrate the book? We have 26 people, so there's 25. We just had one drop off, and that's -3. So we have 22 people in attendance. And William's put his hand up first. Okay, so Gaurav, the way it works is if you can think of a number between 1 and 22, and then tell us that number. And lucky person with their hand up, they will win the book. So maybe just close your eyes, otherwise you get tempted to choose a name.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, do we have enough numbers now, like in between more than 10 or something like that? Or is it still below?
We nearly there. We're on number 9. Let's see. We've got a few more. Okay, we are on. Okay, now we're getting there. We're actually on 14 at the moment.
But people
A
are
few
raising
more
and
and
putting down. So I think we need a
Oh.
cutoff. If you raise your hand, you raise your hand.
Please raise your hand and leave it up. Otherwise, the numbers jump around. Okay.
Alrighty, I'm closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay, give us your number.
Between 1 and 16.
Maybe 10.
10. Okay,
10
who's the lucky 10?
is Kalina.
Okay,
Congratulations,
lovely.
Kalina.
Kalina Porto. Yay, fantastic.
Yay,
Kalina, won't you-
thank you,
That's lovely.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank-
If you wouldn't mind
Thank-
leaving an email address or something that we can contact you, and then we can send the details. What we try to do is to see if we can get a signature or something that we can get from you that it's a signed copy that will be fantastic.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much from my side. So we'll just ask, are there any more questions? Does anyone have a last question that they would like to have answered?
I more have a comment.
I would just, go for it, Esty.
If you
Esty?
can. Like Gaurav, this has been